Our guest, Juanita Headley.
Right.
She is in Ghana. She is doing some work down there. And we are going to join her now as we continue our conversation on human trafficking. Last time we would have chatted with her, we were talking about how does a person spot a human trafficker? What are some of the signs that they need to be aware of? And I'm happy that Juanita is joining us once again. Juanita, good morning. Hello.
Good morning. How are you, Rusty?
I'm all right. How are you this morning?
Hi, good morning. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Hi, Juanita. You hearing me?
Thank you. Yes, I am.
Okay, great. So I want to continue this conversation that we started last week. And for people who may not know or would have missed the conversation before, you know, who is a pimp, as we call them, or a trafficker?
Typically, a pimp can be simply anybody. And what most people don't understand is a pimp could be your parents, your friends, your neighbors, your classmates. Quite often, the perception is that a pimp is a complete stranger. But usually that is not the case. The case is somebody who has built a relationship with you over time, or somebody who you know and love and trust, and therefore your guard is down, and consequently you become vulnerable because you're not expecting your mother or brother to traffic you. But quite commonly, it's not a complete stranger.
So it is difficult then for a person to know who a human trafficker or a pimp is?
That's correct. Absolutely right.
So what are some of the signs though that people can look out for?
Well, there are three different types of pimps that I want to reference to.
Right.
One of those is guerrilla pimp, CEO pimp, and Romeo pimp. A guerrilla pimp is somebody who uses brute force. They may rape you. They may subject you to brutality. They may keep you locked up in an enclosed space without food or water. That person will usually find their victim at the mall, at parties, through social media. They will look for girls who are vulnerable. They will look for girls who are maybe unhappy at home, and they will say to them, come and hang out with me. Let's party, let's drink, let's take drugs. You have to be careful for men who are 18 years and older who spend a lot of time with younger girls, and then also girls and boys who are recruiters. A recruiter is a girl or boy who will spend time with other peers and invite them out to parties, invite them out to socialize, to get intoxicated, drink, and drugs. A Romeo pimp is somebody who wines and dines you and grooms you. They say they're in a they build a romantic or sexual relationship. They usually look out for girls who are looking for love and affection, girls who are not getting love from home, girls who are runaway, or even girls who, let's say, are in a dysfunctional family life and are seeking for something. These individuals, what they will do, they will say to the girl, no one understands you like I do. I love you. Let's dream together. Let's explore the world. Come and live with me. They will sleep with that individual, with that girl, build a romantic relationship, and then eventually tell the girl to have sex with their friends. And the third type is the CEO, where he treats human trafficking as a business transaction. And this individual will look out for girls at the mall, will look out for girls who have left home, who are naive, and will say, I believe that you can be a model, you can be an actress. They will.
All right. We apologize for that, a bit of technical difficulties there. Juanita was joining us from Ghana, and you know, we are continuing our conversation that we started on human trafficking. Juanita is explaining you know, the different types of pimps or human traffickers. And Juanita, you still there?
I'm still here.
Yes. So you were telling us about the third type of pimp.
Yes, so I was explaining the CEO pimp, who treats human trafficking as a transaction, as a business transaction. And he will meet these girls and offer to be their talent agent. He'll say, you can be an actress, you can be a model. He'll be very pushy and will ask her for semi-nude or nude photographs, sexualized pictures. He will even ask her for her data profile, which means, where do you live? Tell us about your home address, tell us your date of birth. And when they get this information, then they're able to know that child's vulnerability from a foster home, for example. That child has an older brother, an older father. That child comes from this kind of background. And so they garner information, and by doing so, it helps them to be able to take advantage of that person because they know their weakness. And if an individual, girl or boy, does not have a weakness, the pimp or trafficker will create a weakness. They will create a vulnerability. And the term that I use is currency. The question we all have to ask ourselves, male and female, young and old, is what is your currency? What is your vulnerability? Any person can be trafficked, whether male or female, young or old, because that pimp or trafficker will exploit your vulnerability or create one. So for you to safeguard yourself, you need to know what your needs are, what your vulnerability is. So when somebody comes and meets that need, you will be able to decipher if that person's intentions are genuine or not.
Juanita, what is the most at-risk group in terms of human trafficking? In terms of age?
I would say right now, the most at-risk group would be young girls, typically between the ages of 12 to 14. Those are the most vulnerable. Why is that? Because at that age group, typically girls are looking for a romantic relationship, and not every trafficker will use romance, but quite often at that age, these young girls maybe fall out with their parents or their family, and an individual comes into their world, wines and dines them. At the end of the day, anybody is vulnerable, but predominantly girls are vulnerable at that age group because of sex trafficking, and a lot of customers who purchase individuals for sex want to have sex with girls who are underage or even boys who are underage. So they are indeed the most vulnerable.
Yeah, so it's therefore a major importance for parents to, be with their children and speak to them so that they'd understand.
Definitely, I agree with you.
All right, Juanita Headley, thank you very much for joining us this morning from
You're welcome.
Ghana to talk
right.
about human trafficking and give us some information, some things that we need to know. So there was a slight delay, so we apologize for that. But as I said, Juanita is joining us from Africa, West Africa. So, once again, it was a pleasure having us. We take a break now and come back with more. Stay with us.